Coming up, Tzu Chi volunteers in China's Fujian province deliver their love and winter supplies to residents in need. We look back at how Taiwan endured through months of drought in 2015. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Dennis Wu. Thank you for joining us. Tzu Chi's winter relief distribution in Fujian, China has begun on the final week of 2015 and will continue for 2 weeks. For those who cannot come in person, their supplies will be personally brought to their doorstep.
To start the winter relief distribution on Fujian Island in Fujian, first, Tzu Chi volunteers have to load the supplies onto a boat.
The transportation system on the island is quite poor. Through the distribution, we hope to deliver warmth to our residents in this cold winter.
Once the ship arrives, the volunteers have to quickly unload the supplies. When a rice bag came undone accidentally, a volunteer quickly patched it up.
The bag is torn, but I don't have a needle. I worry that if the rice spill out on the ground, it would go to waste. That would be a pity.
To serve the island's 5 villages, the volunteers broke into teams to deliver the supplies. In the home of a bedridden elderly, they even helped prepare his meal. The volunteers have long been promoting Tzu Chi's environmental message here, and thus many residents know about Tzu Chi. Some have even decided to volunteer.
The winter relief distribution occurs once a year. I'll regret if I don't come to participate. I'm very happy serving here today.
As for the first winter relief distribution in Fuding, it was carried out in Xiamen Township, where Tzu Chi volunteers first showed up in 1996 to help repair the embankment damaged by Typhoon Herb.
Though the weather is not very good today, in fact, it is very cold. Your compassionate spirit has brought warmth to our heart.
Both a free clinic and free haircuts are also available at the distribution. As Fuding is closer to the north, its winter can be quite cold. But to those in need in the area, love delivered by the volunteers carries more warmth than the winter supplies they have prepared.
Staying in China, the home visitations made by Tzu Chi volunteers take skills and experience, as they really have to be observant and understanding in order to empathize with their care recipients. Only then can the home visitation be beneficial.
In Qingdao, Shandong, those that Tzu Chi volunteers visit may be solitary seniors or families in need of assistance. But no matter what it is they need from Tzu Chi, they all welcome the volunteers' visit. Solitary senior Sun Weiji, who suffers from diabetes complications, used to complain that he did not have long to live.
Sister Zhao Yanhong encouraged me to live my life to the fullest, so I came back. My health improved, so I began tutoring children math, and it went on day by day. They have pulled me back from the brink of death. They filled my heart with warmth and gave me the courage to live.
In another household, after Ma Shouhua's husband passed away, her daughter shut the world out.
Normally, when we interact with her, she seldom has any reaction, but today she responded a little bit. I am truly lucky and feel very happy. It's as if Tzu Chi's humanistic spirit has finally reached her and is slowly helping her open up.
Though still grieving, the daughter has read every story on Tzu Chi Monthly. On the 3rd month, she also began making donations to help those less fortunate. Studies show that helping others is truly the foundation of happiness, as doing good deeds helps people stay positive. In Changsha, Hunan, 27-year-old Gong Hou-wu, who suffers from muscular dystrophy, has come to the home of 15-year-old Li Chenlong to tell him how he finished college and made it into grad school.
事前的预习啊，然后事中的这个。
You must stay prepared and focused. You also must review afterwards. Working hard is the only way. Big Brother has given you the best advice.
Li, who's already at the top of his class, dreams of going to college, but Tzu Chi volunteers remind him not to overdo it.
You got to pace yourself. Take a break to relax your eyes. Don't overdo it.
You should take a break and do some sport. Kids your age still need to exercise. Playing basketball is great as it helps you grow taller.
Carefully observing each encounter, Tzu Chi volunteers always strive to understand the needs of their care recipients, which makes each home visitation a joyous moment.
In a blink of an eye, another year is over. Looking back, many things have happened in the past year. We now recount what happened a year ago and reflect on the experience brought on by these events.
In January 2015, Malaysia was hit by severe flooding. Tzu Chi volunteers quickly mobilized to give out aid supplies and cash cards to those affected. A Cash for Work program was also launched to invite the locals to clean up their own homes. The volunteers also helped build temporary houses for those affected. Before the end of Ramadan, people were able to move into their new homes. In January 2010, a 7-magnitude earthquake caused massive devastation in Haiti. In the immediate aftermath, Tzu Chi volunteers went to give out aid and also organize a Food for Work program to recruit quake survivors to clean up the disaster areas. Over the past 5 years, Tzu Chi volunteers have carried out various aid projects in Haiti. Inspired by their love, many locals have become Tzu Chi volunteers. In 2015, our kindergarten, which was the 4th school that Tzu Chi helped rebuild in Haiti, was inaugurated.
We wish we can see more children accept receiving education.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you so much, Tzu Chi. And I Bye-bye.
In February, a passenger plane carrying many Chinese tourists crashed into a river in Taipei. As rescue teams conducted search efforts in the cold, Tzu Chi volunteers were also there, providing rescuers with hot meals and blankets to keep them warm. To help the victims' families in China get to Taiwan as soon as possible, Tzu Chi volunteers even pleaded with other passengers to yield their seats to the anxious families.
你的笑是我的期盼，愿你永远都平安。生命中有无数波澜阻碍人生情路，有我陪伴。
Another major event for Taiwan in 2015 was the drought that lasted until June. At one point, even Stage 3 water restriction was put in effect in many areas. The experience once again reminded all Taiwanese the importance of water conservation.
At Sun Moon Lake in Nantou, all 9 of the stacked frogs were exposed at one time in 2015 as a visual representation of the water shortage Taiwan faced.
The first half of 2015, Taiwan experienced the worst drought the country has seen in 67 years. The cement reservoir opened in 1964, and comparing the water level on March 23rd of 2015 to years past, the water level was at an ultimate low of 217.18 meters high, where our supply was estimated to be only 4,000 tons of water.
Looking back at the first half of 2015, Taiwan's ongoing drought covered headlines across all major media outlets. A Stage 3 water restriction was enforced, which residents have not seen since 2002. However, the Shimen Reservoir had actually been enforcing a Stage 1 water restriction since the end of 2014. It's just now agricultural, business, and residential sectors would be affected additionally. The strict Stage 3 water restriction lasted until May.
In summary, we enacted Stage 1 water restriction for 172 days. In Taoyuan, Linkou, and Banqiao regions, water supply was cut off for 2 days a week, which went on for approximately 34 days.
Looking for a way to solve Taiwan's drought problem, a special team was also put together to watch the weather closely. Whenever a weather front approached, no matter if it was morning or late night, someone would be on standby to release a reactor to produce artificial rain to help the reservoirs replenish some water.
When the weather front approached, we took measures to make rain. Sometimes when the front was delayed, it took a toll on our employees, as they were on standby waiting for it.
During the Stage 3 water restrictions, those safeguarding the Shimen Reservoir would hold daily meetings to come up with a solution.
A drought isn't like a typhoon where residents can get their lives back on track in 2 or 3 days. Drought takes a while to recover from. During that time, I was quite nervous, especially during the Lunar New Year. Though it was holidays, I kept thinking about the reservoir.
One night while sleeping, I heard sounds of the rain. I got excited and jumped out of the bed to look outside. It was raining hard. I knew the rain would add at least 60 centimeters to the reservoir. Everyone could breathe a bit easier now.
A bunch of people work hard behind the scenes to ensure the public has access to tap water. Only by experiencing the drought will people realize the importance of water conservation, which is everyone's responsibility.
Taiwan is facing labor shortage due to several reasons, including low birth rates, people retiring early, and no one wants to take on blue-collar jobs. We now see how the government is trying to rectify the problem.
The steel factory in Tainan is never understaffed. In fact, it has had to turn away job seekers.
You have to provide a comfortable work environment so employees can and are willing to completely devote their 100%.
By constantly upgrading its factory, employees here can work in a well-lit and well-ventilated space, which improves work safety. The factory has even survived the 2009 financial crisis without letting go one employee or putting them on temporary leave.
As far as the manufacturing industry goes, if factories can constantly upgrade themselves and enhance their values, then they can offer better wages and attract more workers. If they cannot fill their labor demand domestically, we are willing to allow them to outsource abroad by permitting both blue and white-collar workers to come work here.
Besides labor importation, the Taiwan government is also considering extending the retirement age of middle-aged and elderly workers to deal with the current labor shortage.
The middle-aged and elderly workers are mature and full of experience. If they can help contribute to the long-term development of the country, a clear and transparent policy must be established.
However, in reality, the middle-aged and elderly workforce often faces discrimination.
Typically, company would just send some nobody who will then collect our resumes, and that would be the end of it.
They want someone younger who's just a piece of plain white paper. They don't want the experience you have. My past has actually become my baggage.
The government must enact laws to guard against age discrimination. Most importantly, businesses must know that unless the government allows the import of foreign laborers, they can only hire from the current workforce.
Originally an accountant, 54-year-old Yao Su-qing was laid off after the factory she worked for closed down. She only successfully found a job after undergoing job training.
你之前做会计，做办公室
Before, I was an accountant doing a desk job. Though this job is nothing like what I did before, I think if you learn to accept it, it might work out pretty well.
是一个很好的出路哎。
Even though the government is even getting women to return to the job market, scholars think the government is not tackling the problem properly.
服务性产业的话
If it's the service industry, women will work due to the flexible schedule. However, the manufacturing industry has always been dominated by men. It is difficult for women to get involved.
You're asking women to join the workforce, but they cannot solve the labor shortage of the manufacturing sector. Instead, they will work in the low-wage service industry, which will do nothing to solve the problem we face.
Despite the attempts made by the government, the manufacturing industry still cannot find enough workers. Only by elevating the labor force participation of young people can labor shortage in Taiwan be solved.
Due to advancements in technology, people can do more and more with their smart devices. However, prolonged use of these gadgets may actually be harmful to our eyes, leading to dry eyes, nearsightedness, and presbyopia. Here's our report. 28-year-old Ms. Chen has come to the hospital for excessive blinking of her eyes.
Her eyes blinked 28 times in a minute. Her friend says she's winking at guys.
This means Ms. Chen's eye blink once every 2 to 3 seconds, which is higher than the norm of once every 5 to 8 seconds. As it turned out, the problem lies in how she uses her eyes.
上班时间一天
I'd work for about 9 to 10 hours. When I come home, I just want to relax by playing with my phone. If I'm not sliding my fingers, I will feel very uncomfortable.
玩手机2个小时
The discomfort from 2 hours of playing with a smartphone is called dry eye, which is equivalent to watching TV for 4 hours or using a computer for 6 hours.
Experiments conducted by ophthalmologists show that after 2 hours of smartphone use, a person will blink 28 times per minute. For 4 hours of computer use, the blink rate is 23 times. For 3 hours of watching TV, the blink rate is 16 times. The more we blink, the more fatigued our eyes are and the drier they become. Doctors say people should maintain a safe distance when using their smartphones, as the heat released by the phones has a similar effect to that of microwaves, which is why the device is more harmful than a TV or a computer monitor. Only by learning to use their smart device properly can people protect their eyes. For Ms. Wang, she now keeps her smartphone far away when she watches Korean soap operas on it. The 48-year-old would watch for up to 3 hours after work to unwind. But recently, she noticed that she can only read the subtitles when she holds her phone far away. The doctor said she has presbyopia.
我想说，我有近视应
I
该不
thought
太
since I'm nearsighted, I shouldn't have presbyopia. However, after a checkup, I do suffer mild presbyopia. As the condition will only get worse, my doctor recommended laser corrective surgery to treat both nearsightedness and presbyopia.
Studies show that nearly half of the population in Taiwan does not know that presbyopia will worsen, while 65% believes they should only seek treatment if it affects their ability to work. Only 19% think something must be done, while 16% will ignore the condition altogether.
所以很多人以为
Many
老花
people
要
think that presbyopia only occurs to those in their 50s, 60s, or even 70s and 80s, which is wrong. Whether you are nearsighted or not, you will develop presbyopia as the cause of the condition lies in the hardening of the crystalline lens, which occurs after we turn 40. Many people have already visited our clinics and complained of poor vision. It turned out they have presbyopia already.
The smart devices that everyone has access to nowadays will only exacerbate the problem. Doctors say people should learn to use their eyes smartly by taking a break every half an hour. If symptoms of fatigue and blurred vision continue, they should see an ophthalmologist immediately. In our next report, we meet a woman in China who once felt she had hit rock bottom in life until she joined Tzu Chi. Inspired by the positive stories on DaAi TV, she eventually joined the ranks of Tzu Chi volunteers. Since then, she has tamed her temper and brought warmth and hope back to her family.
Shi in Quanzhou is well known for its garments industry, and many people have established their businesses here. Among them is Cai Shuru, who worked in the second-hand clothing business before and is now able to own houses and collect rent. However, her marriage was not as smooth.
My husband drank excessively and refused to work. Upon returning home, I got angry when I found him drunk and scolded him. Then, being drunk, he would argue with me and beat me.
To find an escape, Cai spent much time gambling. Unfortunately, her husband committed suicide 5 years ago, making her extremely guilty.
After seeing how people's lives changed in DaAi dramas, I joined Tzu Chi. I kept repenting and worked very hard as a volunteer, doing my husband's share as well.
In the beginning, Cai joined other volunteers in recycling before setting up a recycling point in front of her house. Through volunteering, she tamed her bad temper.
Her biggest change after joining Tzu Chi is in her temperament. She now talks gently and cleans the house, so I feel familiar warmth which I've never felt before.
Having brought warmth and hope back to her family, Cai continues to carry out Tzu Chi's work, hoping to live the rest of her life to its fullest.
In Hualien, a reverend and his wife have been providing after-school care for underprivileged children in their community for nearly 10 years. Thanks to their efforts, children from disadvantaged families can make some friends, talk about their challenges, and get help on their homework in a home-like environment.
In Meilun, Hualien, priest Huang Zaiyi and his wife have come to pick up children who attend the after-school program at their church. Recently, they have had to walk to the church since their minivan was stolen half a year ago.
The minivan was important to us as it saved us time. Back then, it was easier for us to manage our time.
Despite the inconvenience, the church continues to offer their after-school program from Monday through Thursday, helping underprivileged children.
These children all come from different family backgrounds, but here they find a loving atmosphere.
The students have been able to enjoy activities in this classroom that was built 4 years ago with the help of a donor. Before that, children had to do their homework under a car shed. For the children, the church has become a second home.
They take good care of me. When I have problems with my homework, they teach me.
For nearly 10 years, the priest and his wife have been providing a nurturing and loving environment after school for underprivileged children, bringing them the familiar warmth they need to get through the days with.
As Tzu Chi Foundation celebrates its 50th year this year, DaAi TV also celebrated its 18th birthday on January 1st. That's all the time we have for. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.